It's leaving today, I have to do it today. Amid blessings and applause, Chapter 3. To preserve the scene, I stayed where I was, and Madame Schoolmistress summoned people from both families. Only one thing surprised me though. Mr. Meliodas was not among them. Madame Schoolmistress did not explain where he'd gone. I did not ask. Mr. Attendant arrived first. He was out of breath from running, but the moment he looked up and saw the exposed blade on the arch, all colour drained from his face. What is that? Has it been here all along? I think so, and I think that's what happened to your young master. Miss Florus came right after him. She looked up and calmly lowered her gaze again, as if she'd merely noticed a flower of a different shade. That is suspicious. Lady Truth, this is quite the gathering. Something happened? Well, use your eyes, Pharaoh. We found something unexpected at the scene, so I thought we'd all have a little talk. Everyone must have seen the blade exposed atop the arch on their way over, yet no one showed the slightest surprise. When I prompted her again, Madame Mère glanced up. Her expression stayed composed. That looks dangerous indeed. Best not to stand directly beneath it. Well, Madame Mère, what do you think all the couples have been doing? Yeah, Madame Mère, when do you think this was installed? How should I know? The arch may have been built by us Vignuts, but once it was up, anyone could have gone near it. Oh my golly gosh, this is averting blame, max level. She was still nudging suspicion towards someone else. Though with Madame Schoolmistress also present, I could tell she was more tightly wound than before. I focused studying every flicker in Madame Mère's face. Lies always leave traces somewhere. I'm very suspicious of her. Okay. This stupid vine. Madame Mère, your family built this arch. Did you inspect it again before the wedding? Of course, we checked whether the flowers were fresh and whether the structure was sound. Yeah, exactly, so wouldn't you have found the massive gaping knife? The arch being arranged by the Vignuts was nearly beyond dispute. What mattered was when the blade had been installed and by whom. Question how quickly she answered. Ask who performed the inspection. Ask whether anything was noticed. I think if you noticed anything. You said you checked whether the structure was sound. That means the internal frame must have been examined. Yes, we confirmed the frame was secure. At the time, there were only flowers and vines. Oh, she looks so sad. I think it's a lie. Because anyone would say that. In fact, neither the installation nor inspection was done by you personally, was it? You said it was because you didn't want us questioning anyone else. Wait, so she didn't do any of this personally. Was it Queen Bee? Oh, it's all Queen Bee's fault. It's because she's got that chip damage. Because you were afraid someone else might let something slip. If someone added it later, how do you explain that the arch was built within a slot and mechanism already prepared for it? Why would you leave up this big, fat murder weapon? Oh my god. Yeah, no, because it's like, bro, this is beyond deniable. I pointed at the top of the arch. The blade sat perfectly fitted into the groove inside the iron frame, as though it had always belonged there. That I couldn't say. Perhaps the blacksmith left it there by accident. Okay, but why did you have it there in the first place, when he made the frame? If you insist on that, because who's getting a wedding frame with a massive knife in it, Madame Mère, we can settle the order of construction. We can't settle the order of construction just yet, so let's try another question instead. Madame Mère, I'd like to talk about Miss Greta. Greta, have you found her? Why does she look so stern? I think she doesn't know where she is. There it was again, that perfectly measured look of concern, exactly the same as every other time these past 2 days. I'm so suspicious of her. She is my niece. Her safety matters to me more than anything, you liar. It was word for word what she'd said the last time I saw her. Not a ripple of fresh emotion, only a line repeated from memory. Not yet, but I noticed something. Miss Greta has now been missing for 2 full days. No food, no water, and by your account, she vanished in nothing but a thin wedding dress. With no training, surviving alone in the forest would be difficult. So you think she may already be dead? Pharaoh, you need to look more shocked. There was a thread of tension in her voice, though it sounded less like fear for Greta and more like wariness for my reasoning. Quite the opposite. I think she's still alive. Whoever did this, they had no use for a dead Miss Greta. Oh, they think she's kidnapped. Otherwise, the killer could have easily done the same to Miss Greta, but would have left a trail too obvious to miss. Otherwise, the killer could have easily done something the same to Miss Greta, but would have left a trail too obvious to miss. Okay. I think it's because, yeah, you can kill one, but if you kill both of them, call out her performance or point out suspicious movements. I don't think I should call her out yet. I'm going to point out suspicious things. Miss Greta vanished in her wedding dress. If she meant to leave her own room, she would have needed a place to go and supplies prepared in advance. Or maybe she was in on it. Maybe she's in the garden room. Is she in the garden room because the attendant was talking about how Master whatever was visiting the garden room? And if she was taken away or worked with someone, then that person must have needed to prepare those supplies too. I don't think Greta's dead. I'm right. I think because of what she's insinuating, Greta's somewhere like in a little shelter survival den for the apocalypse. Among those entering the forest over the past 2 days, it is likely there was someone other than the true searchers carrying provisions in. Otherwise, yeah. And that should be easy enough to verify, shouldn't it? Searchers may carry tools in, but tools are not used up every time they leave the forest. Nor would that apply to someone merely gathering berries, since such a person would go in empty-handed and come out carrying something. Go in empty-handed and come out carrying something. If I've seen Miss Flores myself. Lately, she seems to head into the forest carrying rather bulky bundles every time. I think she's the suspicious one, so she's bringing Greta her stuff. That is her habit. She insists on collecting botanical specimens in the forest. Then perhaps later, we might take a look at what Mrs. Flores has been collecting these past few days. There will be a chance later. The workshop is being adjusted at the moment, so it cannot be fully open just now. Okay, 1 vine left. Yeah, I think they think Greta's alive and the florist is bringing provisions back and forth to her. As for bringing in supplies, I can't say. Perhaps she happened to find Greta in the woods and, out of concern, quietly brought her something. That's the problem. Why would you quietly bring a missing person something and not report them to their family? That's weird. Very well. We can verify that later too. I have one more question for you, Madame Mayor. Yeah, she's opening her mouth too much. Like, the mayor's kind of digging herself a hole because she's just making up some tomfoolery. This was something that had struck me as suspicious earlier, but even now, it still lacked direct proof. Ask about the wedding cake or ask about the wedding invitation. Both of them are suspicious, but I think it's the wedding cake because the Vignots were directly involved in cleaning it up. I saw the wedding schedule left by the Castor family. It states that the wedding cake was provided by the Vignots. Yes, the food and drink that day were our responsibility. What of it? I'd like to know, why is the other household not doing anything? Like, they're rolling in dough and they're not helping. I'd like to know whether the cake was made by flour milled by your family as well. Our mill is of the finest in Stillwood. We make cakes with our own flour. Is that a problem? Not at all. But I heard the newlyweds cake and the guest cake were made separately. Was that arrangement your decision too? Naturally, the couple's cake is central to the ceremony. It must be made separately, with great care. That's a weird tradition, because normally they just have the same cake, but if you think about it, Greta made the cake herself, so why are they saying they made it? Other than the shape, were the ingredients and method the same? Of course they were. Broadly the same. Ah, okay, she's hesitating. Then these cakes would have been made in batches, yes? Yet I was told by someone present that the couple's cake was noticeably darker than the guest cake. Yeah, it should have been the same. I'm curious. One of them just liked coffee and we put some coffee in there. I'm curious whether that was simply from a longer baking time. If any of the ingredients remain, may I see them? Only the materials, nothing involving the technique. I'm sorry, but those materials are tied to Vignot's recipe as well. We can't simply let outsiders inspect them. Girl, you think your niece is missing and potentially dead. Why won't you let us look at your freaking cake because you're scared of the recipe being leaked? Like, stop. You're scared, you just don't want us to see, okay? This is the worst excuse ever, Pharaoh, okay? You teams seem rather deadlocked. Yeah, because Pharaoh's just took the position of deny. If we don't have concrete evidence, we'll just never get her because she's taking the approach of she's very defensive now. That voice cut through my thoughts. At some point, Mr. Meliodas had stepped beside us, carrying that effortless presence of his. I had a few matters to settle. Seems I returned at just the right moment. I heard some very interesting things. His gaze moved calmly across everyone present, then came to rest on Madame Mère. Madame Mère, as he pushes up his glasses and almost hits himself with his unicorn horn. I trust you understand that Bernal Castor is under the protection of the Meliodas family. Something happened to him here, and you know full well what matters most in this region right now. I have a duty to make sure this does not worsen. What matters most in this region right now? That was new to me. Oh yeah, because Joseph has some business of his own, doesn't he? We don't know that. Though Madame Mère clearly knew what he meant, they're colluding. Could it be that the killer the officer mentioned, the one pulling all available forces away? Or could it be that the killer the officer... I understand your concern, but the Vignot workshop contains the core of our family's craft. We made that clear when discussing cooperation. Yeah, but the cooperation didn't involve the fact that someone might die, basically. Can we please have some emergency measures for Our Lady? Like your bottom line. And you know as well as I do that inspecting the workshop is not necessary to solve this case. The casters are newcomers to Stillwood. They neither could nor would have had the manpower to arrange the little coincidences Lady Truth just described. I am inclined to trust Lady Truth's line of thought. And as it happens, there is a very diligent officer still in town. Cutest. But yeah, he's a bit obsessed with the old case, and it will make sense because there's been a murder like that in the past 2 years, I think, if this one now was also the same and arranged by the Vignots, and they weren't caught because they're very influential. A man willing to remain in a little town for 2 years over a single old case will hardly balk at pursuing a new one. And isn't time your most urgent concern now? I know the workshop is important to the Vignots. It's your foundation. I will not interfere with that. But in exchange, should you not be more forthcoming with this investigation? Yeah, exactly, because they're being too reluctant. Madame Mère looked thoughtful. So she truly did care about this urgent concern. But what concern was that exactly? Yeah, what is this? Mr. Meliodas remained as elegant and composed as ever. Yet his pressure here felt oddly urgent in its own way. Bro, she's so angry, like that face. If this puts you in a difficult position, I can have the police step in directly. After all, Burnell Castor is attached to the Meliodas family. Under the circumstances, the police would have no reason to refuse our request. Damn, he's threatening her now, but I think it's sad that only the noble families with influence actually get to have a proper trial, like a proper investigation. I will consider it. Because if it wasn't a powerful family like the Castors, I don't think this would have ever been uncovered because they wouldn't have the authority. Please do, but I would like your answer before sunset. Bro, that's so, like, make a deal with me. Like, oh my god. Madame Mère inclined her head slightly and turned back towards her estate. I noticed her steps were faster than before, more hurried. I think she's going to cover something up. Madame School Mistress followed without a word as she passed me. She paused for a fraction of a second, and the cat in her arms let out a low whine. Be careful, Lady Truth. Not every flower in this town carries only fragrance. Poison. With that, she turned and left, graceful as ever. The others gradually dispersed as well, until only Meliodas and I remained. Yeah, because they have a whole garden room. Maybe this like poisonous flowers are the cultivating the black seed of death. Mr. Meliodas, may I ask you something? By all means. Oh, he's turned into DM now. Was he DM before? Mr. Attendant told me that Master Burnell spent most of his days with you, but was not permitted to follow you constantly, which means you've been philandering behind his back, which means our being together is, in truth, only my word for it. Are you suggesting either of us use that time to prepare the scene? Maybe neither of them are dead. It's given neither of them. And maybe Weepy's in on it, but he seemed really sad. No, once Miss Greta is found, the identity of the body should be confirmed quickly enough. And since there were no other mysterious male deaths nearby, I think it's safe to assume the dead man was Burnell. Okay, never mind. If so, whether you were together all day might not be the important issue. It may be very important. You may appear unconcerned with the workshop, Mr. Meliodas, but Burnell seems not to have been. Ah! Oh, she had a little light bulb. She's gacha emoting. Someone saw Mr. Burnell sleeping off to the Vignot workshop before the wedding. Oh, Weepy, you snitch. Since he was supposedly with you. Did you go there as well? Me? No. Once cooperation had already been agreed, I had no reason to breach terms early. So the two of you were apart during the day after all? Ah, Mr. Burnell was doing something suspicious. Mr. Meliodas let out a soft laugh, as though confirming that this truly didn't trouble him much. Who do you think those people sneaking into the workshop were? The officer told me there have been a fair number of unfamiliar faces near town lately. Not wedding guests at all. I've just remembered, at the start they were checking the wedding guest invitation because of a fugitive on the loose. So that means maybe they were involved in sneaking around, and Burnell might have been involved. They covet Vignot's craft and want it for themselves. Burnell was merely observing them on my behalf, and died. When he said that, his gaze returned to me, calm and unreadable. It's a pity his enthusiasm was misplaced. You mean Burnell was doing it to help Miss Greta? That depends on what you'd like to believe. No one but Burnell himself could say whether he wanted the craft or whether his heart was truly involved. Ah. At sunset, Madame Mère appeared again, this time looking as if she had made up her mind. She summoned not only the Castor family, but the officer as well, and led us deeper into the forest. She told the officer another story. Greta had always longed for freedom and never wished to be forced into marriage, but because her family kept her so tightly watched, she had never found a chance to escape. So she seized the wedding as her opportunity, killed Burnell and fled. The torn diary pages I had found in her room and the missing head were all clues Greta has staged to throw us off. This little weasel. I walked quietly with the group, listening to Madame Mère deliver this new story in a cool, even tone. We still don't know if she's telling the truth. The woods grew denser, the river fell behind us, and at last we reached what Madame Mère called Greta's hiding place, a cave hidden among the trees. But the moment we drew near, my heart sank. It was empty, no one inside. Only scattered supplies on the ground, and a confusion of footprints, as though someone had danced here. Oh no! We're too late! Greta is gone! Okay, maybe what she's saying is the truth, but it seems like she's been dancing again. No! Too late again! Mr. Attendant rushed into the cave, as if he refused to believe the emptiness before him, searching frantically. Don't touch anything! The footprints on the ground are fresh. Whoever was here left not long ago. Miss Florist stood in silence at the cave mouth. Her eyes passed over the items on the ground, including cloth from a bundle I'd seen earlier. Why is she here? She's the one who's been delivering the supplies, isn't she? I excused myself to inspect the surroundings and slowly stepped outside. My gaze swept the trees around the cave, and then I saw it. Hanging from a tall tree nearby was an object wrapped in black cloth. The shape was about the size of a human head. We found his head, guys. There! The bundle hung high in the branches, visible from the cave at just the right angle. Mr. Attendant volunteered at once and climbed up to retrieve it. Honestly, if Greta did kill him, that's really gory, and it seems like Madame Mère must have helped him, because there's no other way they could have had that full guillotine with her so tightly watched. It must have been a family cooperation. When he pulled back one corner of the black cloth, what lay beneath was exactly what I expected. Burnell's face, eyes closed, as if asleep. I looked quietly at the face. Every clue in my mind began to weave together, forming an answer that was at last becoming clear. With what we knew now, one could only conclude that Miss Greta had killed Burnell and escaped, but plainly, this was never her plan alone. Everyone, if you will give me a moment, Lady Truth, I'm gonna give you, okay, let's see what deduction she has, because I'm not figuring this out. Now that we've found Mr. Burnell, and with the clues we already have, I believe we can identify the culprit as well. I could not say who struck the fatal blow, but the person who orchestrated it all was surely... Oh no! Why do I have to do this? Okay, it's Farah Lady. The mastermind is... Madame Mère, you are the killer, or rather, perhaps I should say, you are the one who planned the crime. I knew it. Lady Truth means to accuse me. And what evidence do you have? I believe you may not have killed him with your own hands, but you were certainly involved. Perhaps you even led the whole affair. Based on the evidence confirmed so far, there are two possible sources of the fatal attack on Mr. Burnell. The blade hidden in the arch and the wedding cake. One is violence, the other a poison, and both were prepared by the Vignot family. Which brings us back to what we were discussing before. Someone came to that wedding already intending murder. Even I, a newcomer to Stillwood, can see how thoroughly you control the Vignot family, Madame Mère. You may suggest that Miss Greta and Miss Flores plotted it in secret. Yeah, they had to have had help, it's not possible. But with such close command over the entire family, and over Miss Greta herself, how could you possibly not know what she intended? Of course, as long as you refuse to cooperate, and Miss Greta remains missing, other possibilities still exist. Also, we run the risk of her, basically silencing Greta by just offing her, so you can never find enough evidence. I will continue searching for Miss Greta, not only for the truth, but to make certain she is safe. Then allow me to assist in search. Miss Greta is out there alone, carrying Vignot family techniques with her, but think about it, Madame Mère probably also has them, so it doesn't really matter. That is rather dangerous, wouldn't you say? Yeah, but I still feel like she did kill Burnell, but Madame Mère was the one who basically was behind the scenes, like influencing them. Or she was helping Greta. Oh, I didn't expect... No, wait. Why would Madame Mère ever agree to the marriage if she didn't want Greta to be with Burnell? It's really confusing me. Oh, I didn't expect Mr. Meliodas and I would be thinking along the same lines. Lady Truth, do you really find my concern for others so unusual? In any case, leaving her missing and unheard from is hardly ideal. Just a little surprising, that's all. To be honest, I did not believe Mr. Meliodas was truly worried for Miss Greta's safety. He seemed more interested in pressing deeper into this forest. There's something under why those two, there was the other plot that we don't know about. Madame Mère hesitated and finally agreed. Their words remained polished and courteous, and for a strange moment the atmosphere almost seemed harmonious. I feel like Kua should just arrest the mayor now. But I could not hold back the question on my mind. Why? Why did it have to come to this? Why fight back or intimidate them in such a cruel way? Did the people Mr. Meliodas mentioned, the ones converting the technology, really put that much pressure on you, Madame Mère? Of course, otherwise I would never have chosen such extreme measures. Feeling that anyone around you could be their informant, or that the only choice is to trust no one. So when I realized some of the watchers were from the Castor family, I made up my mind. That's enough, Madame Mère. You should understand by now that Meliodas has nothing to do with these people. And the Vignots are still under their watch. I stayed silent and listened closely. Yeah, because it seems like Joseph has the Meliodas family at heart, so I don't trust him. Hoping to figure out who exactly these watchers were from their conversation, unfortunately, they did not take the subject any further. The uproar from the murder seemed to be quietening, and yet one question remained for me. If Burnell and Mr. Meliodas were not together during the day, then Mr. Meliodas' earlier indirect alibi had vanished during that blank stretch of time. What exactly had he been doing? Yeah, why is he here? As I was turning it over, a voice broke through my thoughts. Lady Truth, there is something I'd like to tell you about the case from 2 years ago. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Cuist. I saw at once that his expression was lighter than before, as though a doubt had weighed on him for years had finally been answered. The case, 2 years ago, I always thought it was a suicide dressed up as something else. Why would you stay for a suicide? Like, why would you stay in this village for a suicide that you thought was dressed up for 2 years? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. 2 young people in love, opposed by their families, who embraced and leaped into the lake. But with all this wedding business and the tightening restrictions nearby, I had no choice but to review every entry and exit record again. I found nothing linked to this case, but I did find something odd in the records from 2 years ago. Do you mean you found the movements of the 2 missing people? Exactly. The pair of them left town without record of ever entering it. Ah. I asked around among a few people who remembered them. It seems they left willingly and are still together, trading somewhere now. That's weird, so they were supposed to have died, but they're alive. So So they really did elope by prior arrangement. Their families have already stopped looking for them. I think perhaps that case can finally be put to rest. Oh, this story's so long. I heard a small note of relief in his voice. Why did he care so much? Maybe he knew them. If they're living well, then perhaps the truth isn't always the most important thing. It sounds like you might feel the same, officer. It was happiness they chose, but apart from that, is there still something bothering you? Everything's been resolved now, hasn't it? I don't know anything more, but I still feel something remains unsettled. The area around, the current murder case, and the severed head of Master Burnell. The area around Stillwood was already under restriction before the wedding incident. I think it's the fugitives. The order to lock down the area and inspect all travel records came before the wedding too. Was it the Castor family? It was Meliodas. Meliodas. I remember his words. During those unseen daytime hours, was he searching for someone as well? Perhaps this forest is hiding more than one secret. Of course it is. We still don't know how Greta got out, do we? Well, she's not. Why does Greta have to be a caged bird all the time? Let her be free, but now she can't be because she's murdered someone, so she has to go to prison. There are many mountain paths and ravines here that have never been fully mapped. If someone meant to disappear, finding them would be difficult. That's simply the reality. Still, I think no one will stop looking, no matter their reasons. Perhaps in time, today's events will be retold until they harden into a new legend. We started back the way we had come. Dusk closed in, and the forest was slowly swallowed by shadow. Then suddenly, a low, distant call sounded overhead. An owl? Oh, those freaky birds again. At this hour? That's not so strange. I looked up. Perched on a high branch was an owl. Far too familiar. Amber eyes catching the last strip of dusk as it watched us in silence. Those eyes! Yes, the shadow I glimpsed skimming the treetops these past days has been this very bird. It tilted its head as if answering my stare. Then it spread its wings and flew deeper into the forest. Oh, does it want us to follow it? So there truly were more secrets hidden in the forest, and perhaps a pair of eyes that had seen it all. Creepy bird. Oh my god, it's hello. Dior? Señor. There we go. Did you see those people finally leave? It was the right call to bring in a detective. Once the case is settled, Meliodas, that man, will have no more lofty excuses to linger here. Yeah, we want Joseph out. His games are too long. And now comes the dull little game of hide and seek. We'll see whether those nobles drag him back first, or whether I'm found first. Oh, peak. Good thing I've showed that Fig-Knot girl a way out in advance. With no one left in the forest but me, I needn't worry about anyone else. Yes, it was definitely Neo. Epilogue. The ripples fade. Damn, so it's gonna be like a chase for Zir. The case has come to an end. At last some peace returned to Stillwood. Perhaps there was never enough decisive proof, or perhaps the Castor family had no wish to pursue the matter. Whatever agreement was reached between the two families, the whole affair faded like ripples on water, stirring the surface only to vanish without a trace. Miss Greta was never found. I thought we were going to find her. Whatever. She's gone. Found. The few remaining traces excuse me, I kind of believe she also, maybe she did murder him, maybe she didn't, we'll never know. The few remaining traces suggested she had escaped Stillwood along a mountain path unknown even to the Fig-Knot family. Yes, that's Sear's fault. And her whereabouts remain unknown. Both the Vignots and the casters accepted that outcome in silence. As for the fugitive, who never once appeared, Mr. Meliodas seemed convinced that person had fled towards the valley. Yet even concentrated manpower. So it seems that Meliodas was probably here just to find Seer, and he didn't really care about Burnell and stuff. So he's just kind of like a tip in the bucket, like a wild card. Turned. Oh, okay, so all this manpower turned up nothing. With no clear trail, not even the Meliodas family could maintain a strict lockdown over the region indefinitely. Yeah, so I think that's what happened. The reason for the lockdown, mysterious... So I think at the start, the mysterious letter must have come from Seer, who lured us here. And then what happened was then Meliodas was there looking for him. So then he put a lockdown around the entire village because he's combing it, because he's searching for the fugitive, who's Seer. But then then you have the whole actual plot where Greta and Burnell, whatever happens, Pharaoh Lady's actually evil and she's threatened by people who want her family's secrets, so then she doesn't trust the Castor family, so she decides to murder him in cold blood and probably got arrested. But then what happened was Seer wants to put us off his trail, so he shows Greta how to escape. So then when we go to look for Greta, it means we have all our attention focused on Greta and it gives Seer an opportunity to leave. Okay, there we go. No clear trail, not even the Meliodas family could maintain a strict lockdown over the region indefinitely. Now, with the restriction lifted, the pall that had hung over Stillwood for days seemed, at least for the time being, to have receded. I caught up with the officer by the roadside, still keeping his routine patrol. Officer, you're still walking around the same route at this hour. The same route at the same hour. Actually, maybe he has OCD. Don't knock it. The case from 2 years ago has truly been closed now. Over. Officer, you're still walking the same route at the same hour. The case from 2 years ago can truly be closed now, can't it? I came out only by habit without thinking. As for the case, the answer wasn't what I expected, but I think this is better. Those two are alive somewhere, living the life they chose far from their families. To be honest, I'm glad for them. Exactly so. The two from 2 years ago, they're alive, living their best life. I'm pretty sure Master Burnell's dead though, because we found his head. So, F that. The two from 2 years ago is what he cares about. And what about you, officer? Will you stay in Stillwood? I haven't decided. They've got all these creepy survivors with no real eyes, and I'm the only one with real eyes. I haven't decided. The old case is done, and the new one has been handed over. Perhaps it's time for me to go home. Yeah, go back to your family, bro. I noticed a trace of reluctance in his eyes as his gaze moved over the town. I don't think you need to rush off, officer. This latest case has stirred up all sorts of rumours, and that's a blow to a place like Stillwood, which lives on its name. Madame Mayor can no longer continue her mayoral duties. Is it because she's in prison? I hope she's in prison. Stillwood still needs people who care about it to help rebuild things now. The officer said nothing. Yeah, because I feel like you can get a bad rep if you have an evil mayor who killed people. Like, even if she was under threat, she still kind of murdered him, didn't she? And it's so funny because it gave us three options. It gave us Joseph, who wasn't there, the school mistress, who wasn't there, and then Pharaoh Lady. I think it's obviously Pharaoh Lady. Like, come on. It was so funny. The officer said nothing, but the last look on his face was enough for me to guess his choice. I think he's going to stay. The farther up the road, I met Mr. Attendant. He seemed to have come looking for me. Bitch slap, BP. Sorry. Lady Truth, I found a letter among the young master's belongings. I thought it might help you. I don't know who sent it. One night it simply appeared on the windowsill in his room. It could scarcely be called a letter. More like a crumpled slip of paper. On one side it read, "This wedding is dangerous. Call it off while you can." Yeah, it's because of the Vignots. On the other side, in a different handwriting. It is the family's order. Do not defy it. Nor will she. No, I will not defy it. Nor will she. I need to acquire that technology. I think, actually, it seems Greta probably left him that note saying, please don't do this wedding, like, it's so... And then the Castor family, because they had insiders, because of their greed, they kind of pushed Burnell to his death. Because they were like, no, you have to do it for the tech. For the techniques. Haha. It's all just for show. No one takes it seriously. No one would be reckless enough to do something so stupid. It simply would not be worth it. I wonder who that was. Lady Truth, thank you for all you have done for Stillwood, though perhaps the ending wasn't what some people had hoped for. There are already rumours spreading because of this affair. I wonder whether people will stop wanting to come here. I think a true vow needs no legend to endorse it. The light bulb. And happiness is always something people must fight for themselves. Maybe without the legend, visitors will finally see the real Stillwood more clearly. I pointed towards Miss Flores, who had just stepped through the side gate of the estate, carrying a flower top with a tender green shoot growing from it. See, Miss Flores is still at work. The officiant shouldn't let this shake him either. Oh, floral veins! Queen Bee wasn't an attendant, she was a florist. So stupid. Plants don't stop growing just because people meet with misfortune. Why would Stillwood? I was just about to turn away when I heard a measured set of footsteps behind me. Flamingo guy. Okay. Good thing I didn't miss you, Lady Truth. There's a letter for you. Mr. Meliodas, I thought you'd already left. No more letters, please. I was about to, but on my way out of town, I met a messenger from Librio. He said Mr. Inference had a letter for you. Oh, you didn't see Mark one time. The messenger said it was urgent, so I brought it along myself. A letter from Mr. Inference. I opened the envelope. The handwriting was familiar, but the news inside was something I had never expected. Oh, she looked shocked. How can this be? Mr. Carlos is... Judging by your expression, it's bad news. Something has happened to my friend's fiancé. Oh no. Because of the earlier restrictions, Isabella was still on the road. And when she arrived, full of hope, I would have to tell her this. Oh, so Isabella doesn't know something happened, but she's on her way. It seems the town is not in much of a mood for talk of happiness lately. Do you need assistance? That's very kind, but no need, Mr. Meliodas. I refused his sudden kindness and instinct, because he's evil. Josephs are all evil. Sorry. And watched as he and the schoolmistress left town together, with no reason left to stay. In the end, I waited for Isabella at the town entrance. When she came towards me with a bright smile, I could only place a letter from Libero in her hands in silence. She read for a long time. I could see how deeply it shook her. Not only Carlos's death! Oh my god, why is everyone dying? But the part he had played in everything. I stayed quietly by her side, and by dawn the next morning, she said she wanted to cancel the wedding. She meant to go to Libero and use what money remained to compensate those who had been harmed. I promised her that if there was anything at all that I could do, she had only to ask. What did Carlos do? Perhaps because the previous case had only just concluded, the paperwork for Isabella's cancellation was handled quickly. The officiant even came in person to tell her that a woman could still live a happy life on her own. Damn, even the officiant's like, you don't need him. On the day I left Stillwood, the weather was just as fine as when I had first arrived. The carriage set off. I looked back through the window and watched Stillwood fade in the sunlight. On a branch high above, an owl perched and watched me go. Say, get out of here. Calm calm beneath a daylight sky that did not belong to it. Yeah, this is out of the ordinary now, you'd say, because the owl's not supposed to be out. I thought of the mysterious notes that had appeared from nowhere, the timely hints, the eyes that had always remained hidden in the dark. That blank invitation I received was likely sent by that unseen observer as well. Whoever it was had seemed to want almost nothing from this case, which may have meant their true purpose lay elsewhere. And yet I felt a curious certainty. Their interest in me would not end here. If that was so, we were bound to meet again, and when we did, I would find them. Aw, the end.